NXT took place tonight in Orlando, Florida, from the WWE Performance Center. We started the show off with Bayley taking on Cora Jade, and I thought for Cora Jade in her career, this was probably one of her better matches. I don't know if it's the best match she's ever had, but certainly recently, since she's come back, Bayley really carried her. They had Cora kick out of a Bayley to belly, which kind of upsets me because that used to be such a protected finisher in NXT. Now it's just her rose plant or whatever. It's like that knee stomp. So the best part of this match is near the end. Bayley's on the top rope, and then all of a sudden we hear a familiar tune. It's Tune It Up. I jump out of my seat. I had a huge smile on my face. It was awesome. I just got this nostalgic feel to 2015 NXT that I miss really much. I couldn't escape it. Or even back in 2014 when I first saw Bayley, when she was feuding with the BFFs. And that early Bayley, I remember first hearing that theme, the Bayley buddies going up. Who's this young girl? It's like she's playing a teenager and a teenage hippie or something. What an awesome gimmick. I remember really liking Bayley, and when I heard that, man, so many good memories of her. It reminded me why I liked her so much and why I'm just not a big fan of what she's doing now with her stupid role model gimmick that I hate. But man, Hugger Bayley was the best. Anyway, what happens is it distracts Bayley. She goes after Roxanne Perez, who was, if I didn't mention, was dressed up as Bayley. And I have to admit, she looked really cute. She looked like a little girl. And Roxanne already looks like a girl because you would not even think she's past 18 years old. She looks really young. And you saw her on Raw. And, she's really small, too. And she basically has the Bayley headband, Bayley's old gear with the pants. And she would wear, what do you call that on her, those bands on her arms with the strings coming out, kind of like Ultimate Warrior used to always wear. So she had full-on Bayley, and she looked a lot like Bayley in a way, just a lot smaller. And what happens is, it upsets Bayley. So Bayley attacks Roxanne Perez. She beats her up. She destroys her. It pisses Bayley off. It's like she hates the old Bayley. And that annoys me because I love old Bayley. So back in the match, Cora Jade comes out. She hits a pump handle DDT on the outside to Bayley. Throws her back in the ring, and then she hits a second pump handle DDT, and she gets the win. So it's the biggest win for Cora. And, man, she is now. What happens is, after the match, we see, before Ava comes out in front of the audience, if I remember, she's backstage with Julia, and she whispers something in Julia's ear. Now, Ava comes out, and then she announces, after Cora Jade's win, it's now a Fatal 4-Way match at Vengeance Day, which they teased earlier last week, so that's not a surprise. It appeared as if Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade have made up, and they're friends again. They'll have an alliance, I'm sure, in the match, but then they'll turn on each other, that's what it seems like. And after that, Bayley cleans house, hits a Bayley to Bayley onto Roxanne, sends Cora into retreat, and she's upset what happened. And now we have a Fatal 4-Way match for Vengeance Day. Backstage, we have Sol Ruka and Zaria, the unlikely duo. I don't know why they're friends. They're talking. Zaria, I don't think they need to bring her in. I think Sol has a future. I don't think Zaria does. Then Nikita Lyons, who I'm surprised was not on the release list this week, interrupts. She mumbles something. It's now Zaria and Nikita. Later tonight, Oba Femi heads to the ring. Then we have an A-Town down under coming out to interrupt them. I have to say, when I was watching the show, I understand what happened later in the show, what some people are upset about, which I'll talk about later. It made sense because the men's division in NXT, particularly the NXT World Title men's division, absolutely sucks. I gotta say, it's horrible. The big thing this show has that makes NXT such a good show is it has such an awesome women's division. And the women are NXT. They're carrying that show on their back. But the men's division absolutely sucks. That's why they constantly have to bring guys from the main roster into NXT. They fail to build up any really strong male talent besides Trick Williams. I don't think Oba Femi's anything. He's find him boring. He just bores me. Anyway, you had they basically fought They were teasing that A-Town Down Under would split up, but then they beat them up and they leave Obafemi laying. So I wonder who's winning on Saturday. Eddie Thorpe promo, who cares? He talks about Trick Williams. Eddie Thorpe has to go away heat with me, man. This guy's nothing. He sucks. May as well just released him. Promo for Javon Evans and Ethan Page. Ethan signs a contract backstage, so I think it's not a no-holds-barred match. I thought it might be an unsanctioned match, but it's not. It's basically, if he gets injured, WWE is not liable. Hank and Tank against Inamura and Josh Briggs against the No Crooked Crew in a triple threat tag team match. This match was boring. The fans were shitting on it early. They were not into this. They were bored, and you can kind of hear them chant for other wrestlers. Then they really got the fans into it. They got in, and they really started to make noise. They started chanting, "This is awesome." They had a really fun match. At the end, Inamura and Josh Briggs win. Then we see Axiom and Nathan Frazier, who are basically on a platform in the crowd. They officially announced they will have a match at Vengeance Day with them. So the one thing I thought was way too much of a size discrepancy. I think it was actually smart not to have them in the ring with them because it would show. So having them up on the platform, you're not going to notice as much. Backstage, Tony D'Angelo tells the family he has to do this alone tonight, which is the cage match when he defends the North American title against Rich Holland. Then you had JDX or JDC, I forget his name, Fandango against Lexus King. Somebody comes out, no one cares about him. He gets no reaction. Last week, everyone loved him because he was Fandango, and he still had the Fandango pants. And I'm thinking to myself, people just want to see Fandango. Let him be Fandango, and let the fans cheer for him when he loses to Lexus King. That's fine. Lexus King will get more heat. No one cares about JDC. Lexus King wins. It wasn't even the rounds match. Match was just average. Backstage, Bailey is complaining to Ava. Then we see Roxanne Perez, still dressed up as Bailey, yelling at each other in Ava's office. Cora Jade then comes in. She says she'll be the next NXT Women's Champion before she walks off. And you can see Roxanne Perez mocking her, laughing at her. They're clearly setting up. I hope it's not a feud. I hope they don't have a match again. But they're clearly setting up dissension again. I would like to see Bailey and Roxanne have a match at Stand and Deliver in April, even if it means Bailey's missing WrestleMania. That got me thinking, what if at Stand and Deliver, we get Bailey and Roxanne Perez along with Julia and Stephanie Vecker? What an awesome show that would be. Two incredible women's matches. Hope we get to see that. So Fatal Influence is backstage. I don't see anything in Jasmine Nix. I know she's young. She doesn't impress me. JC Jane, I think, is done here. Her and Gigi Dolan. I was watching an old video of Toxic Attraction when they first were on the main roster for a bit. They were having a match, and I thought, man, what a waste. Mandy really screwed these girls over with what she did. Anyway, Fallon Henley, however, I like a lot. I think she has some chance with this whole Fatal Influence. Once it's over, I think Fallon can actually, if they give her a shot, she might actually do some well. I think I can see her working as a kind of a country girl that's kind of very wholesome. Anyway, what happens is Kalani Jordan interrupts. She wants to shot Fallon Henley. Fallon kind of brushes her off or blows her off. Then we see Jada Parker come in, and she argues with Fallon and Kalani, who they're still teasing a feud. They've each cost each other matches the last 2 weeks. I think both to Carmen. Then you have Ashanti come in and interrupt. Well, I'm just thinking to myself, get this fucking guy out of here. Can they release him too? I don't want to talk about people doing their jobs, but that has to be one of the worst storylines in the history of NXT, that Ashanti Karen Petrovic. Now we have a match. It's Zaria and Nikita Lyons. Zaria just crushed her. Nikita Lyons, I don't know what future she has here, but that was just quick. It was like a 5-minute match. They had the NXT spotlight on Ethan Page. He cuts a promo on Javon Evans. Sarah Screeber interviews Trick Williams up on the platform, and he's basically accepting the match that's with Eddie Thorpe at Vengeance Day, which is now a strap match. We have the cage set up in the ring. And then they're previewing the Vengeance Day card. I think they get to the Fatal 4-Way match, the Triple Threat match, both for the titles. And then we hear a familiar voice. Someone's in the crowd. Holy shit. The moment of the night, probably the moment of the month so far, besides the Rumble. One of the biggest news stories of the year so far. Certainly the biggest news story of this week, and definitely on the show, and that is NXT has now acquired free agent wrestler, former AEW star, Ricky Starks. Wow. I was not expecting him to see him right now on this show. I thought for sure, I think it was almost a guarantee, he'd be in WWE at some point. Probably in NXT, because I think it ought to make more sense. Why not let him go in NXT for a year? He'll know him. He can be NXT champ. He'll get over, and he'll go to the main roster. But when I saw Ricky in NXT, I thought that was one of the best moments of the whole year so far. It was awesome. I was not expecting it. Fans went crazy to chant for Ricky Starks. He cuts a promo how he's going to be in NXT. He doesn't reference AEW or anything. He doesn't say anything about them. But he definitely, I think on his Instagram, he made a diss. So, I think he had a picture of Kendrick Lamar or something. I guess that's a shot at Tony Khan. I'm not sure if that was recent, but he's in NXT. That's the big news. He did a big Ricky pose at the end with his forearm or palm over his head. That's how he does the pose. He's there. Huge pop. And I thought, you know what? This is awesome for NXT. He'll be on the main roster eventually. But the big thing here is NXT has now a top male star they can build around. Obafemi is not a good promo. To me, I find him boring. Ricky is the guy who you build around. He can be the guy in NXT for a year, and that's what NXT really needs. I think if it is like a collegiate level sports program, these people are in and out. They're here for a few years and they're gone. I think he should be the guy in NXT. I think it's a huge, big story for NXT, and some people complaining that he should have been on the main roster. Remember, NXT is on the CW network. They have more viewers. They're on a bigger station, basically, than either Raw or SmackDown. Or Raw's on Netflix, obviously. But the CW is a big network. No wrestling company, none of the AEW shows have as much exposure as the CW. So this is a big deal. And I'm excited. So we go backstage and we see Julia and Stephanie Vaquer talking. Obviously, we know they're buddies, and they're basically saying after she beats Fallon at Vengeance Day, which she will, she's going to target Julia for the NXT Women's title, and basically it's very friendly, and they're setting that match up. If we get that at Stand and Deliver, yeah, that's going to be awesome. So we have Andre Chase walking in, where a whole bunch of wrestlers are just randomly in a room together backstage. He's so depressed, and I just thought to myself, the whole thing is about Chase U being dead. Poor Duke Hudson. He was released. I feel bad for him. He was in Chase U as well. That really sucks. And like Andre Chase is so devastated, and the whole thing is Chase U was dead. Make us more depressed. And they gave the heat of bringing up Chase U to that fucking loser, Ridge Holland, who'll probably be cut soon. They show highlights of Ricky Stark's debut. This blew up all over social media. Now we get to the main event, Steel Cage match for NXT North American title, Troy D'Angelo against Ridge Holland. So, yeah, I don't see much in Ridge. Basically, it's an okay match. They have a few bumps into the cage. Tony and Ridge, like, you're not going to get any big cage spots. Someone's going to jump off the cage. And NXT cages are a bit different from the main roster. I think I like that because it gives it a different identity, a different look, a different feel. We'll never see the blue or black bars again because those are just so brutal on the wrestlers' bodies. But we saw several times they would go into the cage, and eventually what happens is you have on the outside Izzy Dame, and she has a crowbar, and I think it was Stax takes the crowbar from her, and it gets thrown in between the fence and the cage, and Ridge grabs it. He beats down Choney with the crowbar. He hits him in the head. Looks like it's over. He's going to win the title. Choney kicks out. Choney gets the brawler, and he beats down Ridge, and he hits a spinebuster for the win. After the match, Ridge attacks Choney again, and Ridge then fights with the family to the back. Izzy is now checking on Choney along with Adriana Rizzo, and they're trying to make sure he's okay. And then we see someone come into the ring, and that's Sean Spears. They have Adriana go and basically shut down the cage to make sure they... is that her name, Adriana? I have to make sure. I'm trying not to confuse her with Santino's daughter. Yeah, that's her. Sorry. And she shuts the cage door, and then you see Tony looking at them. He's standing, and it's kind of like we see Izzy Dane behind him. And it reminds me of when the Shield broke up, when you see Seth behind Roman. He has the chair and he hits him in the back. That's exactly how it was. She hits Choni in the back with the crowbar. Adriana shook. She gets hit with the chokeslam by Izzy. Then Shawn Spears and his goons get in the ring and they beat the crap out of Choni D'Angelo. The family tries to get in the ring, but they get hit with chairs. It's a beatdown, and that's basically how it ends. Then we get a Vengeance Day hype-up video, which was a video package, which was fine to get us hyped up for the PLE, which is on Saturday. And they're selling it, and then at the end, you have that tease. You see 4 people in the shadows. Someone's coming to NXT. There's another surprise coming. We'll see who it is, but then they tease something else. So they've been teasing it for basically for a month now. And we're going to see what the big reveal is on Saturday at Vengeance Day. And that wraps up NXT. I thought overall a very fun show. Noteworthy show. Big thing was Ricky Starks. I really like Roxanne Perez dressing up as the old Bailey. That was cool. And there was also some other stuff in parts of the main event I actually kind of enjoyed. So overall a fun show. And I'm looking forward to watching Vengeance Day this Saturday.